Any farmer in the plain of Cul-de-Sac can tell by heart the history of Dumais' irrigation canal. Taking its source from the Rivière Grise, this irrigation structure goes back to colonial times. Reconstructed totally in 1931, it was meant to irrigate 15,000 hectares of land. In 1954, it was severely damaged during Hurricane Hazel. Though rehabilitated then, lack of maintenance reduced its functionality. By the year 2000, it was so full of sediments that farmers could barely count on the canal to irrigate the remaining 4,000 hectares suitable for farming. The absence of water meant lost opportunities for farmers. In the past 10 years, agricultural activity in the area has been steadily decreasing. Depending only on rain to grow their crops, farmers could only reach one harvest a year, which according to them was not enough to feed their families. An economic survey in the Plaine had shown the average exploitation produced less than $1,000 of revenues per year. Faced with such difficulties, farmers had lost hope of making ends meet, and many of them were forced to sell their land. On top of that, bandits had seized lands which had not been cultivated. These lands, who were normally dedicated to farming, were being transformed into residential areas.
Terrorité, yo pas travail, et puis bandits montent sous terre avec zam, gestion prend terre au vendre. Connait ça fait habitants une découragé, ça fait venir baguin plus jardin dans zone là.
Nous connait terre son ressource liée pour demain si Dieu veut. L'eau va nous finir net. Va les ressources encore.
Faced with this difficult situation, several farmer associations, whose members still believed in agriculture, approached the Winner Project to ask for support. The challenge was clear and urgent, and Winner accepted it. The farmers needed the USAID-funded project to rehabilitate the irrigation canal in order to bring water back to the Cul-de-Sac plain. Winner organized many meetings with farmer associations, representatives of the Ministry of Agriculture, and local authorities to coordinate the rehabilitation. From those meetings, it was also concluded that rehabilitation works needed to be finished by the first week of December, which was the deadline for the farmers not to lose their winter beans season. If this season was lost, it meant an estimated loss of more than $4 million at market prices. Soon after, the Winner technicians worked on an irrigation system in the plain of Cul-de-Sac and elaborated an emergency program to save the beans season, starting December 2009 and ending March 2010. Overall, 182 people were hired to do the work and finish it on time. 1 month after beginning work, and thanks to the effective collaboration of all partners, Winner had achieved the long-awaited rehabilitation of the canals. A month and a half after the challenge was presented, Winner had managed to clean more than 13 kilometers of the main canal, reorganize a flexible intake in the general basin, rehabilitate key masonry walls representing 1,000 cubic meters, increase water flow from 1.5 cubic meters per second to 4 cubic meters per second. In total, 20,000 cubic meters of sediments have been dredged. To ensure this good execution, Winner hired none other than the future beneficiaries. Of the 182 men and women engaged in the dredging, more than 60% were farmers who would benefit later from the water flowing back. Therefore, Very few farmers were surprised when the inauguration ceremony took place on December 5th, 2009, right on time to be able to save the precious winter bean campaign. Many representatives from our partner institutions and beneficiaries intervened.
Nous remarquons que il y a un bon partenariat existe entre toute entité qui est chargée pour faire un travail ça il fait bien. Pays a un pile problème. Et agriculture c'est lui-même qui est capable peut-être faire population râler en souffle parce que chaque grain de monde dans la population a une possibilité pour planter.
Si de l'eau arrive à Soya, j'ai un terre qui paraît déjà pour me planter patate. Donc, à Soya, je vais de l'eau s'il descend là pour nous. Et il y a pile planté, captain.
Il est clair pour le gouvernement ça. Question manger pour moun manger dans le pays, son priorité que lié. Présence PAM aujourd'hui dans le bassin général, comme ministre de l'Agriculture, c'est pour témoigner l'importance que nous accordons à travail qui fait là, mais tout accorder importance à partenariat qui a développé entre Winner et l'autre institution l'État.
C'est grâce avec USAID que nous avons réalisé le projet ça. Ce n'est pas seulement le projet, mais nous avons un groupe technicien qui dans toute zone là, qui a travaillé avec l'organisation Plante pour corriger, pour faire formation, pour être capable d'augmenter l'agricole dans la zone. Parce que nous-mêmes dans le pays, nous pensons que l'agriculture est un bagage qui est vraiment important.
Watching the water flow back in the canal with enough pressure brought frenzy to the plain. Farmers were ready to work their land and plant. In addition, Winner made available the equivalent of 66 tons of bean seeds at discounted prices. The farmers took advantage of this opportunity.
On a gourmet tiré manchette même pour te arroser notre jardin. Mais grâce avec travail ça qui fait sur le canal là et il améliore mon yo joindre l'eau à l'aise pour arroser et qu'on a tout planté yo vivre tant que frais.
2 months after water flowed back in the plain, most fields are back to life and flourishing. Farmers are watching their crops grow and protecting farmlands. Harvest started 3 months later, around March. Seeds, fertilizer, irrigation, water, and technical support allowed the farmers to produce more beans. It was a good sale season. In the plain of Cul-de-Sac, they can grow various species of beans, but farmers usually plant beans only once a year. The successful winter beans campaign alone brought $4 million to the farmers. Right after the bean harvest, seeds distribution for the spring agricultural season began. Corn, mill, eggplant, okra, and spinach. In a joint effort with the Ministry of Agriculture and the Farmers Associations, Winner made available more than 80 tons of seeds of corn, 40 tons of mills, about 5 tons of seeds of all kinds of vegetables, and more than 850 tons of fertilizers. Water made things easy for the farmers. However, there were still many lands which are not cultivated. To help solve this, the Ministry of Agriculture and Winner made available 22 tractors for the farmers to plow their lands. The ministry provided 19 of them. Winner rented 3 additional tractors for the project. These tractors modernized the plowing in a way that lands were rapidly put ready for planting. This will also help to have more land to cultivate. In this joint collaboration, Winner is also paying for operators, fuel, motor oil, parts, and maintenance for all 22 tractors. Again, this activity was made possible because of everyone's involvement. As a matter of fact, the farmers' contribution represented almost a third of these activities' cost. In many areas, tractors were a key factor to cultivating the corn. This helped corn seeds spread evenly everywhere. Thanks to a technical test previously done, farmers now had a control over the quantity of seeds used. While all these activities were taking place, another important challenge was waiting: the long-term management of water. Winner's staff did not have to convince the farmers and all stakeholders of the necessity to establish a cost recovery system to provide for the maintenance of the canals. Thus, a system for the long-term management of the canal was put in place.